better globe for a better future.
May I also take this opportunity to welcome all our distinguished guests from Better Globe Group, investors from Scandinavian Rim, and all the investors present for visiting our country. Majority of you, I'm told, for the first time. There's something about coming to Kenya first time. You never stop coming back. So be prepared to keep on coming as often as you can. And if you doubt me, ask Mr. Rino Solberg himself. You keep on coming back. And so please, may I urge you to try and stay longer. We can do with your money. So Solberg is telling us that the only way to fight poverty is to give income to our people. I cannot agree more. And you know, when you come in as tourists or as business people, be very generous when you spend. Spend as much as you can so that you go and tell other people also to come. Because right now, following what happened after the elections in December, and I happen to have been one of the presidential candidates, something completely unusual took place, unexpected. And the world was wondering what has happened to Kenya. And because of it, a lot of our tourists fled. I know they'll be coming back from the high season in July and thereabouts, but you are there. I think you come ahead of everybody. That's why, because you're coming back as business people, I'm urging you to spend a little bit more so that we do not lose. If you go to the coast town of Mombasa, you really get to see what I'm talking about. Beautiful hotels, but looking almost empty. It's a very sad story. But we are ashamed of it as a country, and we want to make sure that these things never happen ever again. That a Kenyan will take a panga or a weapon and kill an innocent neighbor. Ladies and gentlemen, as the author narrates in his book, Africa is without doubt a rich continent, and yet it is the continent with the biggest poverty problem in the world. I personally believe the 21st century will belong to Africa. And I know it because the way you have started coming, we plant more trees than the Finns, and I'm sure we'll be able to kick poverty very, very hard. But more importantly, even as you hear of food riots now, there's an ongoing summit in Rome, which is trying to address the current food crisis. The majority of the countries that have very little to feed their countries on are countries in Africa. I had the comment from President Mubarak of Egypt and this big debate going on. Why is it that Africa should continue to be the scar in the conscience of the world? By your coming to us and showing us and working with us in this way of investment in trees, I believe that in another 40 or so years before Mr. Solberg leaves planet Earth, he will have seen a real big jump towards bringing income to the households, because that is where the whole thing begins and ends with that. And I'll be mentioning the effect of corruption, as you know, the statutes that we have in place. But the net effect is our people are left without money because their leaders choose to steal from their own leaders, from their own people. For Africa to accelerate economic growth and be able to reduce unemployment and be able to get out of poverty, African leaders need to crusade and more so intensify the war against corruption and be able to promote integrity as one of the preconditions for the development of African economies. Indeed, as Kenya strives to achieve what we call Vision 2030, I can confirm, and this the ambassador actually expressly asked me to confirm, I can confirm government's commitment to zero tolerance to corruption as a way to achieve our mission to mobilize domestic resources for national development. As Kenya enters a new long-term development or first phase of our national strategy, I wish to commend the Norwegian government for the key support in the area of governance, justice, law, and order. That is a sector we call JILOS, and when Prime Minister Bodovich, I always mispronounce his name, came as Prime Minister that time, I remember specifically his award of $1 million to the government to be able to reform our judicial system. This is most welcome. On the governance front,
thanks. This is Mukuyu Farm. This is our test and training center for agriculture in semi-arid areas. So here we will give them an option of training in different areas. If they have water, they can be trained in water storage and efficient use of water in a sparing way, not wasteful. Water is becoming more and more a commodity that is hard to acquire in Africa, and it will even become more so in the future. You will see some of the technologies that are on use on the farm for sparing use of water, water storage. In fact, this farm has a river. It's down there. You will see it. And there is an irrigation system which they difficultly will be able to acquire, but they will pick up IDs. This water comes from the Kilimanjaro, which is normally visible from here. But it's not a very open day, there is clouds, you cannot always see it. This farm is 20 hectares, it's not a big one. And most of it is under mango trees. So we'll see them there. Sorry, no mangoes today. It's for the end of the year, that's the mango season. But I can assure the mangoes that you're having here is not the usual stuff you find in a Norwegian or a Swedish supermarket. They're much better. So they will be trained in growing of mangoes, with or without irrigation, trained in the fertilization of mango, pest and disease management of mango, different varieties of mango. They will be trained in water management. They will be trained in vegetable growing. The vegetable part of the farm is down there. You'll also see that. I'm going to make actually a little tour of the farm. You will go up like this. You see the mango plantation. Then you will see also the irrigation system. Then you will come down and go to the vegetables. The produce of this farm, it's intended to be a commercial feature, is mangoes foremost. Second, sun-dried tomatoes, which is being done on this rack over there. And these sun-dried tomatoes are sold in Nairobi, while the mangoes partly are sold for export to the Gulf countries and partly are sold to green groceries in Nairobi. Another product is cherry tomatoes, which you will see down there, and pawpaws. Another training module will be growing of fodder for animals. Still, I think when the farmers will come here, they will express also their opinions, and they will also guide us towards they find most interesting in the training. You know, farmers, the more you go to dryland areas, the more you go to pastoralists. So pastoralists need for their animals basically two things, that is water and fodder.